Yo, what up guys, Old School Dan here, and in this video I want to talk about 3 exercises to build you old school biceps. So before we get into the actual demonstration part of the video, I want you to share with me your top 3 bicep exercises. Leave a comment below, alright? Leave that comment, your 3 favorite bicep exercises, and a comment back. So with that being said, I'll see you in the demonstration part of the video. Peace.
Alright, so I gotta be honest with you. This video was difficult, because I had to make a decision between all the great bicep exercises that I feel like would have made sense, but I think I made the right choice with these 3. And the first one has to be a preacher curl. I think it's an incredible exercise for biceps. There's a gentleman on Instagram. His name's Terrence Ruffin, I believe, and he has an incredible old classic physique, absolutely insane. His symmetry, his posing is like out of this world. I love him, but he's being trained by he's not the guy that invented the hip thrust. He's something, I forgot his name, but if you've seen on Instagram, you might know who I'm talking about, the guy who's working with. And that guy is absolutely, great at, the hypertrophy. He's the hypertrophy coach. I'm sorry, that's his name, the hypertrophy coach. And he highly recommends this bicep exercise. But I'm not just saying that because, I'm not adding this exercise in there just because he said it. I like to base a lot of my information, recommendations off old school bodybuilding, but just to add into the new science part, because the hypertrophy coach is all about the science, and he's like, yeah, this is one of the best bicep exercises because you can completely isolate the biceps, and I agree, because it makes sense because why Larry Scott freaking loved this exercise. He did the dumbbells, barbells, even reverse curl on this preacher curl. They named it after basically the Scott curl. And I think it's an incredible exercise for isolating your biceps because it keeps the elbow still, and that's the trick right there. The trick is, if you're not seeing prominent bicep development, and you can look at examples like Arnold. Arnold, I think there was a time where someone said that Arnold was curling 50-pound dumbbells, but he had incredible biceps. I was like, dude, that guy had massive arms. Maybe you've never seen Arnold in person, but just imagine how big he was actually in person when he was a bodybuilder. His arms must have been absolutely huge, but to see a man like that only curling 50-pound dumbbells, it's like, wow, my friend curled 50-pound dumbbells and he's smaller than Arnold. But it's like, that's not what matters. What matters is the form, that you can actually maintain that form and keeping the elbow still, and that's the trick right there. To keep the elbow still, and that's how you engage the biceps. Rather than all this swinging, then you start bringing the front deltoid and the shoulders into play. No. You gotta learn how to isolate this biceps. And if you had a hard time doing that, I actually have an exercise here that you will freaking love. I'm gonna share it with you right now, but this exercise is great because it keeps the elbow still, and it's a very strict movement. You go up and you go down. The arms don't really move much. It's just the forearm moving up and down. So I think it's an incredible exercise for biceps. So with that being said, I don't have anything else to say about this subject. I will see you in the next video. So the next exercise that I chose was an old school bodybuilding favorite by pretty much everyone, and I think it's a great exercise too, just as the last one, because here's why. I was watching a video by Jeff Nippard, and I love Jeff Nippard, and he made a video about the exercises for biceps and how some of the bicep exercises that start behind you are some of the best ones, like Bayesian curl, incline curl, and it makes sense too why Steve Reeves freaking loved this exercise too. Steve Reeves was like way ahead of his time. He was a really smart man. He had a logic to his training, started with shoulders, because the shoulders, and then move the blood into the chest, the back, biceps, triceps. Very logical man. He was a smart guy. I think he was pretty much very ahead of his time, just like Vince Strano was as well. But again, I think this heavily, I think on the EMG rating scale, it's pretty high, right next to the barbell curl and dumbbell curl. But this is a great exercise for building old school biceps. All your favorite bodybuilders did them. You name it. Reg Park, Arnold, Steve Reeves, all those guys, they freaking love this exercise. And again, like I said in some of my other videos, like, there were some specific Steve Reeves movements that people sort of named after him because he did them so often. Like the incline dumbbell press, and the incline curl was actually one of them too, because people observed him and they saw that he was doing, these exercises very often, so therefore they just named it, those Reeves exercises, because I remember reading in a magazine, I can't remember who the article was about, but they're like, yeah, he did a lot of Reeves movements, and I was like, oh, Reeve movements, huh? And I just looked at the exercises and I was like, oh, incline dumbbell press, incline curl, very similar to like Steve Reeves' bodybuilding routine. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, interesting, very, very interesting. But yeah, great exercise for building old school biceps. And actually, if you've never seen Vince Gironda do them, the way he demonstrates them, it is as the dumbbells fall back, you lean your body back, and as they come up, you lean your body in, so you can get that full stretch, and you get that really nice flex at the top. Just a little old school tip for you guys. So now that's all I have for you on this subject. So with that being said, I'll move on to the next exercise. So the last and final exercise has to be a seated dumbbell curl, but you guys are gonna freaking love this. So I could have went with a regular dumbbell curl or a barbell curl. Well, if this was a top 5, I would definitely include those two in there. But this variation is something that I just really want to share with you guys because I found it very valuable. So, like I said in the last couple slides where I talked about keeping the elbow still, again, if you have a hard time doing that, and like I said, in my last part videos where Steve Reeves had built this machine, like the video was called, Training Secrets Better Than Steroids, and it talks about Steve Reeves and he built that machine, and I demonstrated this exercise on there. So Steve Reeves had built an incline curl, machine type of bench that had these braces where his elbows were, and the whole point is to simulate something just like this I'm doing the video. And like I said earlier, the key to great bicep development is to keep the elbows freaking still, right? So how do you mimic that movement if you don't have that type of machinery and you're not that type of engineer? And I really wish I do I believe I could engineer a machine like that. But how much time and effort would I I will never get to use it because I have to open my own gym, which I want to later on. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. But again, like I said, how many of you could engineer a machine like that? If you can't, that's fine. You can just do something very similar, just like this. You go to a preacher curl and you go to the spider curl part of the preacher curl, because usually a preacher curl has a spider curl part and a preacher curl part, which is the slanted and then the flat. My gym doesn't actually have that. This is just a preacher curl bench, and that's it. Well, the new gyms like 24 Hour Fitness in LA, they have a preacher curl that has the flat and the slanted one and the flat one. So, it'd be even more amazing if you had like a spider curl bench. And actually, no, that doesn't make any sense. Sorry. But this right here is to keep, brace your elbows against the pads, and you can do this on the lat pull down machine as well. I think that's exactly how I demonstrate in that other video I was talking about, Training Secrets Better Than Steroids, where you keep the elbow stills against the pads and you just curl the weight up, and it's great for isolating the biceps. I always do this exercise just because I might just have tight shoulders, or I just have a hard time keeping my elbows still, but I try really freaking hard to concentrate and to not move my elbows. But I think just my shoulders are just too dominant, man, and they just love to just come into play. But I'm definitely gonna keep working on my form and keep trying to isolate my biceps, because I'm really trying to bring them up my triceps as well, because those are lacking as well. But again, if you have a hard time isolating your biceps, I highly 100% recommend this exercise. But if you don't, you could stick to regular seated dumbbell curls or regular barbell curls. You have no issue isolating your biceps. Do that. That's totally fine. And I think those actually are great compound exercises, just like this one. I think this one serves a little bit more as an isolation one, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, drop a comment about your 3 top favorite exercises for biceps. So if you have someone who wants old school biceps and really wants to create that old school bicep look and has a hard time isolating their biceps, share this video with them. Copy the link. All you gotta do is you can copy the link and send it to them on a text message, email, comment, or something like that. Just share it with them. Share the love of old school bodybuilding. All right. So guys, thanks so much for watching this video. With that being said, subscribe for more videos like this. Give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. I'm Old School Dan. I'm gone. Peace.